So today we are going to review the standard algorithm for multiplying fractions. So I need you to go ahead and stop this video, pause it for a moment, and write down these 3 steps. These are the 3 steps for multiplying fractions that you will need for the rest of this class period. So we're going to do 4 practice problems on this video so you can see how these steps work. Okay, so the first 2 problems are here on the board. You should be writing everything you're seeing today. All right, so I'm just going to write some very quick reminders. So whole number to fraction, multiply, divide. Okay, that's basically just a very quick main idea of each of the steps that you just wrote down. So for 26 times 3/4, the very first thing I need to do is change my 26 to a whole number. Then I need to multiply across my numerators and my denominators. So I know that 1 times 4 is 4. That's an easy one. 26 times 3, I might want to write that out. Okay, sometime today you're going to have some bigger numbers that you're definitely going to want to write out. So I know that 3 times 6 is 18. I know that 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that tells me that my numerator is 78. Well, my last step is to simplify by dividing. So I need to take my 78 and divide it by 4. Okay, I can use, in fact, let me use, since we've been doing so much with the box lately, let me go ahead and use the box. Okay, so I have 78. So how many 4s can go into 7? That would be 1. 1 times 4 is 4. I'm left with 3 that I bring over. How many 4s can go into 38? Well, I know that 4 times 9 is 36. And if I did 4 times 10, that would be too much. So this would be 9. Okay, so I am actually left with 2. Okay, so remember how I write this. This is 19 wholes. Okay, the 2 as a remainder is my numerator, and then my divisor is my denominator. So this would be up here 19 and 2/4. Now I know it's been quite a while since we did fractions, but remember I cannot leave 2/4 because that can be reduced. Okay, so remember that can also be called 19.5. So my answer here is 19.5. All right, moving on to our next problem. Okay, so I first have to change my 9 to a fraction. 9 times 7 is 63. 1 times 10 is 10. So both of those I could do multiplication in my head, so that was quick. But remember, now I need to divide. So I have 63 in my box, and I'm dividing by 10. Well, I know that I cannot make a group of 10 out of 6, so this is 0. Okay, so I'm going to take my, and I keep messing up on my boxes. I made those way too big. So this should be a 6 and a 3. Okay, so 0 times 10 is 0. So this 6 comes over here. If I have 63, how many 10s can I get out of that? That would be 6. 6 times 10 is 60. And I have 3 left. Now, I know that when we were doing dividing with decimals the other day, we could then, add our decimal, and we could put a 0 here and take this 3 and put it here. Okay, and then we could divide again, right? And so this actually would end up looking like this, wouldn't it? Okay. However, we're not doing decimals, we're doing fractions. Okay, so I'm going to take all that back away because that's not what we're working on today. We want to put our remainder as a fraction. Okay, so I know I have 6 wholes, and remember your remainder is your numerator, your divisor is your denominator. Okay, so can I reduce 3/10? Well, 3 is prime and 10 is composite. So remember, if I have a prime and a composite, I see, can the prime go into the composite? And that's a no. So the answer here is 6 3/10. So here are our last 2 problems. So again, the first thing we do is whole number to a fraction, then we multiply, then we divide, and maybe we ought to put the last rule here as simplify, in case we do need to simplify it. All right, so 2/5 times 32. Well, 32 over 1 is my fraction now. 2 times 32. If I do that mentally, that's 64. 5 times 1 is 5. So I need to do 64 divided by 5. 5 can go into 6 one time. I bring over my 1. 5 can go into 14 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. And I'm left with 4, but I have to write that as a fraction. Okay, so 4, my leftover is my numerator, excuse me. Okay, the remainder, the leftover is always the numerator. And the divisor is always your denominator. All right, when I'm looking at 4/5, 4 is composite, 5 is prime. Can 4 go evenly into 5? No, it cannot. So 12 4/5 is our answer. Okay, so now let's do 3/8 times 24. So I change 24 into a fraction. First thing I need to do is 24 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So my numerator is 72. And 8 times 1 is 8. So, I think we can do this one mentally. 72 divided by 8. Okay, well, I know 8 times 8 is 64. What's 8 times 9? 72, right? So it's 9. So my answer here is only a whole number. There's no fraction. Okay, and that's perfectly fine, because if we have a problem, because 9 times 8, 72, there's no remainder, right? So if you have a division problem that does not have a remainder, then that means that it will only be a whole number. And that is okay. Please don't think that you did it wrong and that, oh no, this is all crazy and I can't do this because, it should have a fraction. Not necessarily. Okay, some of your answers today might be just whole numbers, and that is okay.